Welcome to the Introduction to Research in Educational Sciences. In this video, we'll discuss about how to design the questionnaire for your quantitative research. Simply, there can be more rules, but I just suggest 8 simple rules of designing a research questionnaire. First, write a survey lead-in purpose. Second, include demographics. Third, consider the level of respondent knowledge. The fourth, use simple and clear wording. Eighth, minimize question. Six, use sequential questioning. Seven, write neutral non-leading questions. Eight, avoid combined questions. And at last, please do the piloting test and refine your questionnaire in order to successfully complete your research. And these rules are from this reference. So the first rule is write a survey lead-in and purpose. When you are making a questionnaire, first of all, you need to explain what kind of survey purpose and the goals are for your research so that the participant have more knowledge on what they are doing and why they need to do. Don't use too much paragraphs in explaining, but 2 to 3 paragraphs will be proper. And would better also you'd better mention about how much time they will be required to complete the questionnaire, and hopefully we'll discuss that later on, but it should not be more than 10 to 15 minutes to draw more participants and increase their rate to complete the questionnaire. And also need to mention the confidentiality and how you're gonna deal with the anonymities. And in the end, it would be good to give some thanks to the respondent for participating with a kind word. The second rule is to include demographic, but you should be careful in gathering some kind of sensitive information such as age, race, gender, income, or physical limitations, such as topics. So only when the information is needed, you can ask it. If not, you'd better avoid it. So in case you want to see, let's say, the gender differences in the interest, you can ask about the gender. But otherwise, you don't really need to collect the gender information. Or you want to see how the age affect to the result, you can collect the age. But if not, try to avoid it. Also, it is recommended to ask the participant contact information for the further research after you got the result in the quantitative data. Like your results show that there are differences between the freshman and the sophomore, but if and you want to see more about why the differences happens, and you want to conduct the interview, but if you don't have the contact information, then you need to stop your research. So it's really recommend to ask them the contact information based on the confidentiality. And the third rule is consider the level of respondent knowledge. So need to consider who is your target. So if your target are young students, you need to make more kind word or the easy word. So it's really important to consider the level of their knowledge. So if we want to, for example, compare the student and teacher's perception about the quality of teaching, we can, although the construct are quality of teaching the same, but the words that you need to use should be different if your targets are students or the teachers. The first rule is using simple and clear wording. The example is over here. So, for instance, we want to ask about how often the teachers, or the students use certain teaching approaches. But if you use this kind of what is the recent frequency of your implementation inquiries when teaching science, those kind of words like implementation frequency maybe not really familiar or friendly words to the respondent. So instead, you can use like and how often do you use when teaching science during last years like this. So try to use as simple words as possible, but the meaning should be exact and also uh, specific to the purpose of the research. The fifth rule is minimize questions. So as I said, you need to mention how long does the participant need to use to complete the questionnaire, and in order to um, increase accuracy and complete the survey, you need to minimize the questionnaire to minimize the amount of time. But at the same time, in quantitative study, for the reliability and validity, each construct need to use the 4 to 5 questions, and I will explain it in the second video. Sixth rule is use sequential questioning and try to group the questions together under certain headlines. And this is an example, I think, from the Thales questionnaire. And the headline is the school climate and job satisfaction. And there are 8 questions related to the school climate, I think. And the teachers responded between the strongly disagree to the strongly agree. So for the respondent and for their concentrations, you'd better split this kind of school climate with an other construct or the factors, but it would be good to put them here under certain headlines so that they can notice what they are answering about. The seventh rule is writing neutral and non-leading questions. So consider the language used to construct the questions. For instance, if you want to conduct a research about the bullying issues at school, this kind of question is a leading question. So what is the cause of current bullying problems in your school? Because in this question, you already assume that there is a bullying at school. So the respondents, the perception of the bullying is already, you know, led it to this question that bullying already is happening there. So more appropriate and the neutral line of questioning can be like, do you think there are bullying issues in your school first? Then if yes, please explain. And if no, to go to the next question like this. So using the neutral and non-leading question is really important in the designing the questionnaire. The last rule is avoid combined questions, because if the questions are combining 2 to 3, then the participant may confuse what kind of answer they should give. The example is, do you think teachers should work less, so here first, and exercise more? And the participant think that yeah, teachers may work less to reduce the stress, but exercise does not matter. But they cannot, you know, choose between these two. But they need to uh, answer between yes or no with this combined questionnaire. So the proper way is to put them separately and first ask, do you think teachers should work less to reduce stress? And the second question would be, do you think teacher should work, no, teacher should exercise more to reduce stress? So here are 2 questions combined in one question. So you should avoid to make this kind of a combined question for your research. And you need to do the pilot testing to make your research successful and to reduce the your research time, let's say. To conduct the pilot test, you need to choose a small group of individuals who are really similar to your target sample. And if not possible, let's say, in conducting the master study, at least you need to test with your some colleagues or friends who are familiar with these topics or interested in topic or experienced in conducting the research in this kind of topics, so that you can find any detect and flaws in the questioning and correct them before conducting the main survey. So please do the piloting test if you are using the survey or the questionnaire. All right, thank you so much.